Good evening, everyone. It's so nice to see all of you here. And yeah, as Eva mentioned, value and testing. Is it possible? Do you think? Yes? No? We have an no? Yeah, and the voice for the tester for no. Okay, my presentation is done. But, about what we'll be really talking today. So firstly, we'll start with quick introduction, and I will talk about what testing really is and where this value can be found. Then we'll go through 3 different cases that really happened in 3 different companies about how smart thinking and just going out of the box can bring value to the testing. So first will be about Postman as a quick win. Then we'll go to understanding your product and the client. And last but not least, you will hear once again about elements. I know, it's third presentation. I have difficult adversaries before me, so I will try to show elements in even better view. So let's go. Firstly, what does the tester certification, so YesTechUB, says to us about what the testing really is? So it's a validation and verification of a software. Such a boring thing, you know? But it's important. It's important to that extent that there are some companies, some sectors of the market that really use just this approach. We are talking about banking industry, about pharmaceutical industry. It is so important for them that the software is validated and verified because they have a lot of laws that they must adhere to. And if we are talking about pharma, we are talking about human life. So, you know, it must work. But other industries? Not so much, really. But why? Why in other industries it's not so important to test? Or maybe we don't have, let's say, so much of testing. Because it differs on what you are gaining value. In, for example, games, it's important to be quick to market. It's really not matter how good quality is. It matters how fast you are in the market. And in a lot of products, it's the same thing. It depends not on the quality of the product, but the time you are going to the market. Of course, you can hear it all here. It's a thing that should be tested properly, and it was not working, and it was a little bit of pain to the people using roads in Poland for some time. But yeah, so do you guys think, once again, in your life, in your companies, does testing bring any value to you? Or not? For real. You are working with testers? You are not working with testers? You are shy ones. So let's do exercise. Because it's late, you are all tired, so I will go for that. If you think that testing brings value, please stand up. Okay, so most of you think like that. Great to hear that. So I will show you 3 ways on gaining value from testing, and not related only to creating test cases and validating functionalities of the software, but how to do it smart, how to do it fast, and how to gain feedback on that. First thing is interesting one, because there was a company and a team in that company that was working on some external APIs. And they didn't want to use existing test set in this company because it was heavy, it was unreliable, and it was just slow. For example, building of this framework was taking around an hour. So it was not convenient to use it at all. And also, the framework was over-engineered. It was made by developers, and testers who were in the company, mostly manual testers, doesn't understand a lot of it. It was really hard to create a test for them, so the framework was not used. And when we are going to a little bit of waterfallish kind of the deployments that was there, it was theoretically working automated regressions, which was always done manually. So the framework was not used, or the tests were not fixed. So the situation was really not good. And what was happening in the home company in the meantime? The agile transformation happens. And some of the teams use it really well. And we are talking about this example. So we have an API team. Why they need an UI tests? Why they need this Java, Spring, Serenity, Cucumber framework? There is no need for them for that. But they need something fast. And need something that will also allow testers to work with developers. So they were thinking there is a tool that our testers in the team are using, Postman. Postman has a runner, Newman. We can put it in some microservice, some Docker. We can add Jenkins to that. And what we have? Testing framework that was developed in under the week, that was running really fast, and was the one and only solution for contract testing that I ever seen. And it was so much of a success for a team because this was the only team that were doing their testing during SIT phase fully automated. The solution itself was giving a team possibility to test their every changes because it was cheap and running fast. And other teams started to go to this team and saying, hey, you have this amazing API test set. Could you lend it to us? Could you teach us? So it was a nice, let's say, example of how an big agile transformation in a company can help team to just make their decisions, use their tools that suit their needs best. Of course, let's not say that this solution has only good things in there, because if someone worked with Postman, they will know that there is an issue with storing tests on Git, because Postman has his own, let's say, repository. And if you don't want to use Postman repository, you have a problem. Because storing Postman's tests in Git is not readable at all when it comes to code review. So you have to always drag the tests back to your PC, run them, and check them in Postman. But it was still faster than the old solution. So this is our first example. So we don't have to always use the common tools, always think what is the best for you and for your team. Second one, I think my favorite one, we have the second company. This is a technological company, 100% focus on their own product that they are selling to clients. And it's really strange, but they had problem with gaining feedback from their clients. They had a lot of clients, but most of them were big industry clients. And you don't want to go to the clients like, for example, Citibank, and ask them each week, oh, how are you liking our new release? No, they will not answer that. They will not talk about usability of the product. Even so, they have 20 versions of your product installed already and don't want to see you or hear from you anything. They hate you. But what we have in company? We have a funny thing called bootcamp. This bootcamp is that all new hires in company must learn the product the company is making. So, okay, each month we have a group of people that are using the product, learning how to use it, and doing the same stuff. So we have great control group. Each month, what we can do? We can measure usability. We can go to this education team and say, hello, we are testers, and we can help you if you can help us. We'll give you this small form. You know, there's 5, 6 questions that you will ask at the end of the bootcamp, and it will be valuable for the whole company, for the product, because we'll learn And you will also learn, you will be closer to the technology people. We will communicate and work together toward better good of the company. And it helped, really, because when the product was made, the education was really using the newest version always. So we were testing constantly, month by month, on usability of the product with different people, with different points of view, because there were not only developers, they were testers, they were accounting people, there were people from HRs, from the whole company, just using the product. So we learned a lot. We learned how the product is perceived. We learned about also advantages comparing to other products, because our was not that much known by people. And there were a lot of different competitors that people know coming to the company, so we can learn. So what I here would like to say that not only normal testing is important, also is to ask yourself a question: is there anyone in your organization who can help you? That you can go and gain knowledge that you think you don't have access to. So think about your company, what they are doing with the product, and how they are cooperating in between departments. And it corresponds also to third thing, which are called, with a little help of my friends, because it's all about that. As you heard, elements on previous talks are now really, really big project. And as you also heard, we are a calculation engine. This is our most crucial functionality. If this functionality not works, our clients are losing money, they are getting fines from their clients, so we are getting fines. So it's not a good situation at all. What we also know, that this calculation engine has an infinite amount of edge cases, so we cannot test it all. So what problem that we have? We had a defect found in a similar application in KMD that caused a fine. And we heard from our management that we must deal with the issues before fines come to us. So, okay, what we have? Calculation engine, critical part of application. Millions of possible edge cases and scenario. Really, testing is pointless. Really low-level testing, really unit testing, integration testing is important here. But testing our business scenarios is really hard. So we have a possibility of huge waste of money and effort. That will create some testing framework that will not work at all, or will just use enormous amount of resources. But, and it's a funny story, because I was really not convinced about doing anything with that. I wanted to just point a sticker and say, hey, we have something new, it's working and covering us, because I was not thinking that it can bring any value. So I was talking with support guys from support of our application, because I was presenting the application to them, they were new to the application, and I was thinking, it's only fair, if they are support, to present our level of quality, because they should know. So I have gone to our wiki page, and I was going through all of the testing possibilities and elements, how we are testing, what we are testing, and what we are doing. And the chief of support said to me, Andrzej, but this comparison test that you have here, I used to solve things like that in previous company. And I was like, wait a minute. You solved it? Yes. And we are working on client data. Really on client data, and from that I think, okay, so if there will be possibility to have a client data, the scenario changed drastically, because now we have a really working scenarios We are not bubbling into these millions and millions of possible edge cases. No. What we are getting and what we are working on right now. On creation of valuable testing of real-life scenarios that we'll get from selling our solution to the client as part of functionalities of the product. So we'll sell testing, my first in life. I love it. So it will also give us possibility of lowering of costs because we already have this test set. We have it on artificial data or on data that we find that will be possible to do or maybe good to use from our ETLs or migration team. And more possibilities of testing in the future because it's a beautiful word for tester when the client is coming to you, giving you their data, and test on it, and we will pay it. Like dollars here, dollars there, use our data. Because normal word for a tester is that I want the client data. And I really cannot get it because of anonymization, because of no one wants to give your data permanent to you. So it's also always a pain. And right now, if this project succeeds, because right now we have working solution, of course, but we must still sell it. So if this project succeeds, it will be an enormous value to the organization itself, because not of lowering the costs, but because of this data, that the clients will be willing to give us data and pay us for that. So, and why this help from the friends? Because you heard the start of the story with the support guys, but there's also a second side to this story. That this project that we are making right now, it's a cooperation of 4 teams right now. So there's one development team that is creating the calculation engines, so they have a knowledge about how the engine works. We have also migration team because we need data on our environment, and they knew client data. We have also a QA team that is overseeing the whole project, and right now platform joined us. You know, they know the costs, they have the tooling, and they can help us. So what I would like to say here is that testing and value are working together if you do this, let's say, step backwards. You look at the whole organization and you ask organization the question, how can I help? Where is the value in quality assurance as a whole? What are we needing? What are we missing? Where we can help our developers develop better product? And on the other side, how we can help business to recognize what is needed to be developed. So to start thinking at the start of the process. And yeah, that's all from my side. If you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them. And I saw that there was 2 people at the side of the room that didn't stand up. So did you change your minds? Testing have any value or not? Thank you. So any questions? If not, then thank you.